What's going on, Crunch Time Survivors? And today is a special segment, man. When I told you we're gonna make big things happen, we got a few people that's running behind due to prior engagements. However, we about to get ready to get started. Today is the State of the Union address on youth football. And the only reason why we're talking about football, because that's what everybody in here associated with. We're going to talk about what's wrong and what's right with youth football, and getting right to it. I got one of the most, pillar, OG as we call him, a monarch, the man.
Come on, man.
Coach, I'm just saying, I got to give you cologne while you can smell it. All right, listen, I don't believe in talking about getting a man no flowers, so I got to give him that good stuff while he can smell it. I got my big brother, Coach Duke, and I got a real close friend of mine, a brother that I earned in actually coaching, and we done had some battles on the field. I think I'm up one. My man, Carlos Thomas, man, Carlos Thompson. Man, we here to address what's right and what's wrong with youth football. And we actually got a few questions that we want y'all to actually tap in and ask questions from out there. So coaches, please have your phones on so we can address some of these questions from these parents and youth coaches or whatnot. And guess what? This grown man talk. This actually grown man talk, and this segment isn't for the kids today. It's for the parents, because the kids can only do what we actually teach them. So we the guide. So we're addressing everything. So this grown man talk, this grown man and woman talk, because women have a voice in youth sports today, and all of that going to be addressed as well. So my first question is to Coach Duke. What do you feel that is right with youth football today?
This is all my opinion, so don't cut my head off if I say something that you don't necessarily agree with. It's just my opinion. So I'm gonna just tell you how I feel respectfully. What's wrong with football? I think what's wrong with football is we've got away from a lot of the principles that built football, that gave these kids a platform that they could feel good about, the parents could feel good about, no matter where you play football at. And I think we've come to a point now where the principles have changed. When I say that, meaning street principles has been carried over into the football side of it. And it's hard to operate any platform when you're entwining the streets with the youth. Even though we all understand that the youth, a lot of the youth, they deal with a lot of things that might not necessarily be normal circumstances, but at the same time, we got to understand how to separate the two, because they don't know that yet. Right. That's what we're here to teach them, how to separate the two. Mm-hmm. But it becomes very difficult when the line changes, meaning we got more volunteers, more parents, we've got more coaches that's involved now that's really on street principles. Right. Because it comes down to, okay, what I feel as an individual, when it should be about what's best for the kids. Correct. I know we all have our times as people, because we all human, where we fall short of that. But we got to be able to be brung back. We got to surround ourselves with people that can say, Coach Duke, no, come on, back. And you got to be man enough to accept that. Right. And the only way you're going to be able to accept it, you got to have that mindset to understand that's why I got these people around me, to help me become better too. There's no such thing as you perfect or you where you need to be in life. No, we all should be competing. As long as we got breath in our body, we should always be competing, at some level in life. But those are just a couple of things I think was wrong with it, but I'm pretty sure it's more, but this is something that I come up top of my head with.
Carlo, what about you?
I'm gonna take the different angle, man. I think I've been out of coaching now 2 years, but I'm still involved with a lot of the kids, so I get a different perspective from you guys, because you guys still in the trenches. So what I see, right and wrong, what I see right, man, I still see people being involved, people still volunteer, still trying to at least give somewhat effort to say to you. But at the same time, one of my biggest things that I always used to stick on is having that environment when them kids come to your organization, having that as that peace. Because like I say all the time, a lot of kids lose it at home. So we had an opportunity and an obligation as coaches, administrative parents, to when them kids get somewhere to go to like a safe haven. You understand what I'm saying? Full of all troubles that they got at home, they can leave that aside, and that for that moment they can feel safe, they can feel love, they can have fun, they ain't gotta worry about what's going on at home. So I see just the ditto on what Coach saying is a lot of that is missing right now, you know, and then I ain't here to point the fingers. I'm just saying the game has changed, and I see if we don't all come together for one simple cause, which is to save the youth football in Tampa, we're gonna see a dramatic drop in the city, in its talent, its development, and kids prospering from this area. We don't come together and be unified in making sure that we bring Tampa youth football back to what it was.
And I like what you said about Tampa youth football. And my take on actually what's wrong with the game today is the roles are out of whack. And what I mean by that, it's like you have more sassy daddies and masculine moms versus dads are more nurturing, and it's okay to have that trait.
Right.
But you know, as a man, being a man, some of us at 13, 14 years old, we had to figure it out.
Right.
You know that nurturing is not a lot of the part of it. That's what you go home to mama for. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, a lot of guys put women in these predicaments by not doing their part, and it forces them to be masculine and play a role. But even then, mom, when you're dealing with a coach at a practice, you're dealing with a man.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
For the most part, because we have our troubles with the coaches that we hire. And then good thing, we us as coaches and y'all is being involved with actually hiring these guys, and you give them a chance, and you don't know these guys from any apple off the tree.
Right. You
give them a chance, and you don't realize they have
issues,
right? But when y'all bring y'all kids to us, right? And I've been going through this for the last 2 years. I'm a man first, right? And like he say, street principles, right? Me, I pick my coaching staff. Mm-hmm. By him being the head of our organization, he pretty much give us our way. But as a coach and a man, I know what I need around me, right? So I got to be selective on who I bring around me and leading these children, these young men, because of the energy. And like you say, the streets are overtaking youth sports, with even with the morals and the principles. Like, we not gonna argue out in public, especially when we trying to get this kid on the right track. Like, it was a situation that I think he was in yesterday, by the kid cursing. A kid cursing in front of an adult. Now, you may let your kid, what may work in your house might burn mine down. Right. But when you in our facility, you in our house.
We're gonna make sure that kids stay within the kid.
A kid's spot, its place.
Right.
So that's why I say the roles, it's like the kids are giving directions and the parents are following them. Mm-hmm. And then they expect these people that you bring your kid to coach, you get coached by, to follow your principles in your house, but what may work in your house might burn mine down.
You know, it's crazy to touch on that. I know y'all both experienced this. You know, whether you have a kid you coaching, y'all got practice, and a mother or dad or someone or the authority of that child to tell you, well, he said he don't want to come to practice today. But see, in a minute, he's going to be telling he don't want to go to school. See, it start there.
Yeah.
See, once you start letting these kids make decisions, you know, I can't tell you how many times I had a mom tell me, well, you know, he don't feel like it. He said, and I said, well, you know, one thing about it, two things for sure. The more you keep defending him as a child, you're going to be doing the same thing when he becomes an adult. We're going to purchase an attorney.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you got to let your kids go through something. And I know we all got kids up here. We want the best for our kids. But sometimes adversity, especially when it comes to sports, I call that controlled adversity. That's not nothing that's finna take the life of your kid or finna make them better. It's gonna make them better. So you need to let them go through that and show them how to prosper through adversity. You know what I mean? Because if that's the problem. These kids ain't being taught how to deal with adversity. As soon as adversity hit, right now, you know, you can look at it, they leave schools, they leave. Soon as you say no.
That's one of the bigger problems.
That's one of the bigger problems.
As soon as you say no, you know, now I got to put it on the coaches too. I got to put it on the coaches too, because see, my thing, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and about a month ago, they already had a trouble. This was when, like, conditioning going on. And they had trouble with the kids and stuff already. But see, my thing is, this one thing I always stood on. Whatever organization I coach at, I gotta have that parent meeting before conditioning start. See what I'm saying? I done kicked the Naheems out, the Larry Hodges. I done kicked them out of practice. I done did that. Hey, go find a person that's gonna tolerate that. Mm-hmm. See, but you gotta set that standard. I think a lot of coaches, if you don't set that standard from the jump, and it come down to you putting winning before the development or the well-being of this child. If you got a cancer on your team, and you want to work with them, because we here for the kids. I'm not here to just strike you out. But when I lay that law in front of you and your parents,
I gotta have that support.
I gotta have that. That gotta be the standard. Yeah. And if you go against that standard, it's gonna help that kid ensure you stand on that principle that he violated. And if it calls even for him to have to get off your team, that's what you may have to do sometimes to help try to save that kid's life. Because if not, he gonna go from organization to school to life thinking this how I go.
But I think that's one of the problems. Even with, and I'm gonna start with the coaches, but because the leaders is what the kids respond off of. That, you know, they really look at how the leaders lead.
Right.
When you give a coach the ability to have the power or influence over your organization, now they feel like they have leverage and they control the situation. Mm. So now they don't get there with the first time you tell them no, just like you said, tell them no, okay, so I'm gonna take these 8 kids I know that follows me.
Right.
That follows me. Mm-hmm. And we going to such and such now.
To get our way.
Get our way. And then this organization, give them their way, and the same thing happened there, now they jumping here. Mm-hmm. Until organizations come together and say, hey, the only way we can make this better is by now allowing these kind of guys or parents, because the parents do it as well.
Let's start with them.
I can't get my way here, I'm going here.
Right.
I'm gonna go over here because you're gonna give me free registration, you're gonna pick him up there. All of that is part of the problem.
Right.
So until we all come together as leaders and say we're not gonna accept that, guess what? It's sending a powerful message to the masses. It's sending a powerful message that, hey, if we don't win or lose, you gotta understand that we're gonna do it our way.
Right.
And our way is the right way by the product that we put out.
Right.
You know, win, lose, draw in between. If the kids go out there and compete and have a good time, that's winning.
That's winning.
It's winning.
But see, my biggest problem also is they think their kid going to the pros tomorrow. Oh, they think they're going to get old. Let me tell you something about an offer.
You know they try to get that NIL deal. They try to pay some bills now.
That's what it is now. And guess what? But you ain't getting no NIL in youth.
Right.
And see, they don't realize that youth sports is the last place your child will play sports when the coach is truly doing it for the love.
Right.
And he's not risking anything but everything that's a risk to him. He's risking his family. He's risking money. Because guess what? Youth football will mess your household up too.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? When women will leave you because of youth football. You lose your children and trying to help other people's children, and your child know you love them. But guess what? Your child looking, well, golly, my daddy putting all this time in with this stranger, and then guess what? These kids go on to college, and guess what? They usually never know you.
They never know you.
But it's some of them still holler at you, and coach, I love you. Like I still talk to the joke wedges, I still talk to the Luton before the game days, and guess what? We still had a communication, but everybody's not them.
But those are the ones that's. If you look at the ones that's probably still in reach with you, those are the ones that was raised right.
Hey.
And understand that what you're doing is one of the hugest sacrifices that a man can do. When I put essentially, and this one of the things that drove me, say, let me focus on my house. If this the appreciation things that I'm gonna get, well, you know what? I need to put my focus on what I need to do for my house. And one of those things was when I'm putting other people's children in front of my own. And a lot of people don't understand real coaches put way more time than them 6 hours that's on your schedule. That's 6 to 8, that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 6 to 8. Listen, we on the real culture, we meeting after hour, we putting 30, 45 hours just like a job, which takes away from me being with my child, my wife, my family, my mother, and to see people not appreciate that effort and make a good coach make you stand down.
Yeah,
from.
it discourages at times.
Yeah, you know how many times I heard in the stands, how many people that came to you about me? Oh, I can't stand his fat ass. And oh, he ain't. Oh, my baby ain't getting this. My baby ain't getting that. But see, you just think about your baby.
Right.
We got 26 other babies that we got to think about, and them our children while they with us.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? Like my nephew play for me now. And I heard it early. Oh, he's showing favor to my nephew, get it the worst. Because what he don't get from his daddy, he get it from me.
They don't realize.
And a lot of them kids that's on that same team with him, they couldn't go through that.
Right.
They couldn't live through that.
And
But
it's
guess
worse
what?
on them.
And it's worse on your own child.
Because I got to stay away from you. That's why I never really coached Joe. I probably coached them the whole time I coached, 12, 13 years. I probably coached them maybe 3 times. Because I'm hurting them more than helping them, because what I'm going to try to do is stay away from you. I had a Super Bowl that year at the 49ers.
Yeah.
We played Dewey then. And that year I had a lot going on with parents and stuff like that, because we had merged. It was the Raiders and the Seahawks merging together, so we had a lot going on internally. But then you had a lot going on that team, a lot of different talents blending together. And I was hurting the team. I wasn't feeding Joe the ball. So I didn't hear from the people that he's showing favoritism, but the truth of the matter is this was one of your best players on the team. You know, but you're going to stay away from him and hurt his development to make other people happy, and they still going to complain. So, you know, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
And no, right, don't get me wrong. This ain't a bash the parents thing, but this is my advice to all the parents. When you bring your children to us, we are not NFL coaches. We are not professionals. It's a lot of stuff that we're still learning along the way in coaching your child. But just like I can't go in your house and tell you how to parent, don't come in my house telling me how to coach or telling these coaches how to coach, because they giving up time. They're giving up time with their family. They're giving up time on their jobs. They're giving up time that belong to them that they'll never get back just for a Saturday to coach your child. So respect that.
Just to piggyback off that a little bit, real quick. I think that the parents got to understand that you can't treat all the kids the same.
Correct.
You don't even treat your own kids the same, but that don't mean you don't love them all.
It all requires special
Because
kind of love.
what it might take to get through with this individual, it might be something different for him.
Correct.
So parents got to understand that the way coaches coach, stop taking everything personal. Because just like you said, you just see what's going on with your one, but those other 28, 29 kids, I got to find a way to get through them all.
Right.
I got to find a way. It's my job to find a way to get through to that kid.
Correct.
Real coaches do that.
Right.
They take the time out to try to find what it's going to take me to get this kid's attention.
Deion said that the other day, didn't he? He was talking about he has to know his team along with each player. That's how he was able to reach out to Jimmy Horn against Colorado State when he was having one of the worst games of his season, having a down moment. But he was able to grab him and told him, hey, you from Florida. Your daddy incarcerated. He locked up with his partners right now, want to celebrate his son and their victory. Go out there and show them where you from and what you do. He came back and remember he caught the game-winning the time touchdown to take them into overtime against Colorado State.
He was a USF transfer.
From Sanford. I think he's from Sanford.
Right.
Down there on the other side of Orlando. So he, just piggyback what you're saying, understanding that kid. A good coach, which we all agree that Deion's a great coach despite whatever happened yesterday.
Yeah.
He is still a great coach.
Yeah.
And knowing your kids, knowing each player, knowing how to motivate them, how to encourage them. You know, you got some dogs, sometimes you gotta piss them off for a game.
Yeah.
You know, you got some kids you gotta they in their zone, they all right, don't touch them, don't say nothing to them, let him do him. You got some kids need encouragement.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so you got different, and you got to think of what kind of talent that is when people say, man, that coach ain't coach. But what about that coach understanding his players? That's a talent, right?
That's a talent.
That's a talent. The kids ain't quitting on them. They going out there, they having fun. Oftentimes, we all can agree to this. You're going to see people more mad than the kids.
Yeah.
Watch the kids after the game. They're going to be over there playing with each other, running around with each other.
Yeah. And parents still holding
And then
on
I'm
to
saying
these.
the parent want to damn near come fight, but
They will.
This kid over here playing throwing tackle.
Right. After they lost.
With the dude who in front of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Who you say he got a... make it make sense.
And I'm glad you got onto the coaching because, like I say, this is not a parent bashing moment because some of these coaches are full of shit too, and I'll say that, especially these
Orgs.
We can say that because at the end of the day, it's to the point to where me personally, in this day and age, because the game is so toxic, I don't think dads. I'm not a fan of dads coaching their sons on younger levels no more. And the reason why is because that coach gonna get a lot of scrutiny for what he's doing, and it's always gonna be he's showing favoritism. Right. And then, like he just said, don't nobody care nothing but for their child. So it's a lot of daddy balls. It's a lot of hidden agendas with some of these coaches. But to the organization's defense, you know how hard it is to get somebody to volunteer their time?
Yeah.
And when we was growing up, it was separated. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this, and this is a touchy subject. The street dudes just wanted to see the kids go and perform. Mm-hmm. Right? Now the street dudes want to be involved more than they ever been, and they bringing the wrong type of stuff around the game. Just think about the murders that have been, hell, you witnessed the murder.
Yeah, well, we was at last year I coached. We were playing out there at Zephyr Hill. We had 2 games. This game was full. We were playing Palmetto Pride. I think this happened during Super Midget game. So, by that time, JV there, varsity there, along with, things that happened in front of everybody, that ain't something you see every day when you see kids and everybody can talk what they want to talk, but when you see them kids' face, when they see a body laying down there lifeless, that's a different kind of feeling when you see the kids' face and how they looking at it. Remember, they playing throw a tackle right there when they seen a lifeless body right in the parking lot. That's a different kind of explanation that you got to do as a coach, because now, you got your own family out there. That was a sad day. But the crazy thing is, that wasn't the last one.
No, Talib brother.
So
yeah, I think Talib brother was more geared to what we talking about as far as the coaches.
Yeah.
That incident that happened then, I don't think the dude was a coach.
He wasn't a coach.
I don't think he was all, but it's just for that to be brought to an environment,
which is what he was talking about, bringing the street.
Right.
We got different stuff. You got coaches like Talib them, but you got a gun for on the field anyway.
Right.
Then you got the situation where street stuff is getting intertwined with the youth, like it's what I was on the platform.
Right.
What I think coaches said back in the days, for the most part, that stuff steered clear.
Everybody
understood what the assignment was. So
and you can't fight no more. You can't just fight and just left at a fight, whether it's male or female. And like I say now, going back into the women that's in the game, I hear so much gossip. The internet has really emerged youth sports, but it's done so much damage because now everybody is worried about highlights. Oh, my 7-year-old son need to touch the ball 20, 30 times because he got people watching him, or they just want to post him on YouTube. Well, all right, I'm with that, but post his grades if his grades ain't right.
Well, most of them probably don't know the kid teacher name. See, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about them Saturday daddies. I'm gonna stay off of it.
That's a whole nother subject for another day. But even with like when it started back in 2018, 19, and I think it was Ty Timmons, they revolutionized the game. They put it on social media. They put it out there for YouTube, and that was a platform, and it was a way for kids to get noticed. But I don't think where it's at now, that was their intentions.
I'm gonna go back to that. I think Ty can contest this. I think I got Ty his first video out there. I want to say that was that's the year I think we had 10U. I think we met in the Super Bowl, but remember it was a big game with 8U. The 8Us was both good that year. Cause my son was on that team with Dre. When Will then was coaching with Dre. Mm-hmm. So I actually had paid for him, had to talk to Scott, had to pay for him to do like a little clipping for Man.
Right.
But he kind of took it and made it for the soul, which was cool. Because he made it for the, he made a whole clip, he recorded their week practice and he made a whole clip of the Soul Bowl week, which brought people into, Tampa U football. And from there, it just took off, from people requesting for him to come do it. But I think it was I think it was good for exposure for the league.
For the league, yeah, but people got into it thinking that it was going to just take kids over the top. And we talking about kids. We talking from 7 to 14. We're talking about children. We're not talking about 9th grade, 10th graders, because the league did carry 9th graders. We're talking about 7-year-olds to 14-year-olds.
Right.
All right? So I think it was a good thing for exposure for the leagues. And they gave people to go and look at something like that's even like with the combines and the all-star games and all that type of stuff. I think that stuff is okay, I do, but like the national talk, how we got on all the battle and you know how everything that emerged and went to national talk and everything's inspired and now you got the games live stream and everybody want to play for that moment, but then you got to ask yourself, right, before you go national, are you built for these moments? And you want to put your kid in front of this camera, and it's two sides to it. Yeah, you can put the highlights up there, but every time you get a highlight, when Deion talk all the way he talked, the first thing when he lost, boy, they couldn't wait to give it to him.
Right.
So it's your kid built for the other side of that.
Right.
So when them highlights are lowlights, are your kid built for that? Because let me tell you something, a lot of them they're only fair weather players. They good when that sun's shining, but when that adversity rain down, and there's people in the house that can't help them get through it, and the only person that can build them at 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 is that coach, the one you got a problem with, that had the guts to tell them, hey man, you going to sit down until you get yourself together.
Right.
Why you took my baby out the game?
Right.
Damn that he's been a distraction.
Or he not giving no effort Monday through Thursday. So how do I supposed to justify that to the other parents? Now all of us know it ain't no secret. He the best player on the field. But how do I justify that to the other 28, like we say, when, you know, if he coming out there without that effort, that go back to the coaching. And the reason why I'm talking about that, because the coaches, you gotta be on top of that. You know, because you know who hurt the most? Kids that's talented in youth football. Because what Coach was saying, it's so much about the other stuff now, and everybody just want to win. It ain't about developing. So when you get a good player, nobody want to coach this good player because they scared he's going to what?
Lead.
He going to lead. So when I teach you, hey, man, you're false stepping, and he go back home and say, man, coach talking to him. Well, no, coach is trying to coach him. But he used to that.
Well, all that goes back to what you were just talking about as far as the exposure and all the different, I guess, people that's into that market. It's really based on opinion.
Right.
And a lot of these parents, and I hate to say it, you're brainwashed because you're so focused on somebody saying your kid is the number 3 10-year-old in Florida. Somebody tell you your kid the number 3 10-year-old in Florida, that's the only thing you focus on. Boy, I'm finna give, how much you want? Oh, I need $600 for the tournament. I'm gonna put him in. You don't hesitate.
Right.
But when somebody come and tell you, hey, I just noticed your son got a problem with reading because we're going over the plays and he can't remember this, third, third. Maybe you need to go to this tutor and invest, $100 a month. Because we willing to do this because we finna bring tutoring. So make sure he does 2 days out of the week. Oh no, I ain't got time to do that.
Right.
Or no, I don't think. Like we gotta understand.
But if you tell them they had an interview, they'll be there.
They'll be there. What at 10 years old, you should be understanding your kid is a sponge.
Right.
And he should be receiving even constructive criticism. He should be receiving all that. So that goes back with what you see. Nobody wants to coach the son up.
Right.
Because all you want is high praises. All you want to hear is all the good stuff. But believe it or not, it's going to build
That's
him.
what's going to happen.
That's what's going to build him.
Yeah.
But it goes back to being educated and what you learn and what gets your attention. See, that type of stuff, it got the masses' attention because a lot of our parents now are young.
Right.
A lot of them, we coach them, or we dealt when they were cheerleaders.
And that generation, they're different.
That generation different.
That generation, they're different. I got nephews, and that generation, they know everything.
Know everything.
I told you, you ain't got enough years out here yet. You got to listen to somebody. I ain't telling you to listen to me.
No, because what they know everything, and what they don't know, you don't know it.
Right.
And you trying to tell them.
Right.
You know what's crazy, man? We're in a situation, we're in an era where drip is more important than discipline. Like, I know some of my parents can't stand me, right? For the simple reason why a lot of them like to wear, like they like to be dripped out, right? And I ain't got no problem with you being dripped out,
right?
As long as it's within our color scene. Like, even my brother called me and say, boy, you hell, boy.
Right, because I done spent all this money on all these accessories. I done spent my money on these accessories.
He's like,
I can't wear those clothes.
Hey, listen, hey, get what he say? Hey, he'll sit you down, boy. Don't play with it.
Right.
Rules. But then this is what they don't realize, right? And not even saying because it's Dion.
Right.
But it's a clip on social media right now, and Saban's the same way. Hey man, why you got on white socks? We don't wear white socks in here.
Right.
Go home.
Right.
Go home. And they looking at it as, coach ain't got no drip. But I'm looking at it as, I know where your child can be, and I know what they gonna put in front of him. So if I'm trying to prepare him at 10 for what he gonna see at 20,
right,
he ahead of the curve. Right. That's why kids like Joquez Smith and Lewis Carter are where they at, because they were prepared
from the house.
From not even the house, the coaches that they went through, they were always coachable, and they didn't go out of their way to go. If coach say I can't do it, I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it. But some of these parents get mad. Well, why he can't? Well, such and such. Because I'm gonna tell you what sicks me. The Pooh Shiesty man says I don't like them.
Oh yeah.
And that's just my personal opinion, because they sell it.
I don't like them.
I don't like them because I know what it emulates.
Right.
I know what it stands for. If you want to know Jack, if you was a Jack boy and you was from the street, you know what that emulates. What I got to hide my face?
What I just told you.
Now, if you playing in Wisconsin,
street principles.
or you up there in
exactly. It's
Pennsylvania,
cold.
I get it. But boy, it's 90 degrees down here.
It's 90 degrees down here, and it's the stuff that's in the game that's ruining the game.
Coming up,
Well,
it's been cold in Wisconsin for as long as and I ain't seen nobody with no ski mask on like that. No, they gonna have scullers on. They have all that. They gonna have no ski mask pulled all over down their face.
And you know what killed me? They walking around with this stuff in the summertime and trying to justify it. What do you need this on? And it's 99 degrees in Tampa. I can only sweep around our own front door. I'm only talking to the kids in Tampa right now, because what you need, a ski mask on, and it's 105 degrees outside.
With the hoodie.
With the hoodie.
I tell them all the time, like, hey, my brother told me this a long time ago when I was, I come up from West Tampa. Y'all from across town, so
East side.
So I grew up in West Tampa. So growing up, my brother then was out there. So I was always the youngest in the house. But I only really hung around people my age at school and at football. Other than that, I was at the house with all the older, right? Yeah. So my brother told me I got in, everybody know I had got in trouble. Like, I think I was, and this is why I really started coaching. So I was getting, and this ain't bullshit, bro. I'm just letting people know my story. I was getting in trouble. Like, I think I was middle school, like Roller Park.
Yeah.
Getting arrested, getting in trouble, hanging with older people. And my brother came to me and told me when I got out of it, he said, look, you can't be a gangster and an athlete. You gonna go right or you gonna go left. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff that we talk about, especially when we ain't have social media and all that stuff now, you look at social media, you see the dudes in the league. The kids are doing it because even the dudes in the league in college are imitating being street affiliated when they on a platform that can take and change their whole family dynamics. So now you got the younger kid, they're gonna do what they see the people, in the league and in college doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and it go back to and this go back to our culture. We celebrate. I just saw. I got family. We'll celebrate big getting out of prison more than big just graduated. You throw a party that your son just graduated college, and you throw a party for your brother just got out of prison, which I'm all for that, but what party gonna have more people? You understand what I'm saying? That's a culture thing that it's gonna also at one point need to be touched on to me to fix you sports. You understand what I'm saying? The things, our outlook on things and what we celebrate, it's all right to be, we all done been through something.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm telling you? But what we trying to push to the youth right now and to the coaches and to the odds to try to get things back in line is it go back to this stuff keep getting mixed up. So I'm with you.
And man, Duke had the opportunity to actually go to a graduation party for a kid that played for us, Vito Watkins. He got his doctorate in law studies.
I saw that.
And that was one of our most proudest moments because it's not just about football. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you watching,
I was just finna touch it.
If you watching, it's a 96% chance if your child is playing youth sports right now, he won't even get a chance at the league.
High school.
Yeah.
High school. But you know what? He'll get a chance. He'll get a chance to get a job, and he can work and getting a good job. I even had the opportunity that 2001 team that we coached at Chamberlain. The kid that I actually coached, the outside linebacker, Jared Baxley, he's a pilot for Southwest. That's the type of stuff that makes me proud.
Hey,
That's what makes you coach.
That's what makes you
That's what makes us
coach.
do
It
it.
ain't about the lead because there's so many kids that we've had the honor to assist them on their journey.
Right.
That this football is the reason why they went on to be successful.
Correct.
I got more kids I can speak on, and I don't like saying names. Ain't nothing wrong with saying names because if I say one name, it's a
Gotta say
million
all.
of them I should say, and I can't remember them all. But this is the whole purpose of being able to be a part of any youth platform, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, because what they're gonna learn from this experience, what they should learn, if they're surrounded around the right people in the right organizations, is all the things that's gonna carry over into real life development.
Correct.
When you in there sitting for interviewing for a job and there's 3 other people in there, you've been competing in sports all your life. You already know the pressure of being
Correct.
put in certain situations.
Yeah.
And all you're gonna go back to is what my coaches told me.
How to prepare.
How to be prepared. So for the ones that made it to the league, boy, I love you and I'm proud of you. But the ones who hasn't, I'm just as proud. I'm just as proud because I know you being part of a youth program, basketball, whatever it is, of just being around some positive people was a part of that successful journey.
Yes.
So I just want to say that for the ones that I know it's a football. We talking about football, but
But just sports, period.
Just sports.
Because what's going on is going on in every sport. Because travel baseball is just as bad. AAU basketball is just as bad.
Right.
Yeah.
We just happen to be football coaches, and we
Right.
can sweep around our own front door.
That's key. Like, just to ditto on what Cobra said, 'cause we was just talking about this on. That's why it's so important to get kids especially a single mother, anybody. I think that's why it's so important to get kids to play a sport. And I say, I'm from Florida, we football, so I think it's so important to get kids in football at an early age, is not to get them to the league like we talking about, is to make sure to give them that Bible in life.
Yeah.
To give them that principle. They're gonna learn the things that translate to football transition right along life. And I tell people all the time, don't coach for Super Bowl, coach to get these kids ready and prepared for life. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with allowing your kids to play an instrument. I think that's vital too.
Mm-hmm.
Kids playing, that's big on kids.
I think it well-rounded. I think it gets them well-rounded. Because to learn to read music is a talent,
Right.
And if you can learn to read music, you can learn to read anything, and that's been proven. Man, like just getting to the brighter side of things, I will say this much for youth sports and youth football: it's still an outlet for our kids to display their talents, and it ain't weird. Like I said, we're not here to just tear things down, but like, how can we make them better? Like, if you had to, Rose, this is a question for you, to start, what would you start at changing the culture and get things back on the right track with youth football?
Well, the first thing to me is start with the organizations, and I said we got a lot of organizations in the area. So to me, something that I feel people don't realize, when you starting or running an organization, that's the same as running a business. Even though it's a nonprofit business, it still is operating and functioning as a business. And you gotta have the baseline fundamentals of being some kind of business to make sure that organization is running and functioning on one accord. So to me, I would say it starts there. Even when you have a board or you have an executive board, if you tell me somebody who started their organization and I ask you their board, I can tell you right then, 9 out of 10 is you're gonna be successful or not. Because truthfully, your board should be people that for one want community involvement, that can drive funding and get the right politicians to pass certain voters. That's what you need your board. You have a committee to help make you run football decisions. See, if your board is running your organization, to me that it hurts the operation side of football. And why that's so important to get everything balanced, because I think to me the organization can be the only ones that set the standard of what they're gonna go for and what they're not gonna go for, to try to control everything else that we just talked about.
I agree. But see, the thing you say, it's a business, and this what, and these are the times we living in, and it's so hard for the board. And I didn't understand board decisions and situations until I became a part of a board for 1 year, and I just decided it made me want to just coach. And then outside looking in and being a coach, you in a generation today where everybody wants something for nothing. And they drink just because they pay their $225, that's supposed to cover everything. Parents don't want to help fundraise. People in this day and age don't want to help go and get big sponsors. And like I say, the volunteers are far and in between because everybody has an agenda. Like people like at the Jaguars, they're dinosaurs because you got people that are part of the organization that just on the strength of it, whether for friendships build and relationships build, they wouldn't be on the board, and it's hard to replace good people these days without an agenda. So these parents got to understand, I think it's a big problem to think that, oh, I paid my $225, well, where your $225? Hold up, where your $220? Where my $225 with it? Where my $250 went? Well, all right, you got half of that. You got 2 uniforms, a book bag, and then we still have to function, and I had to learn this, we still have to function throughout the year to worry about the end of the year banquet, to worry about those extra uniforms you want, to worry about trophies. On top of the end of the year banquet.
I'm gonna go back to my principle, what I said at the beginning. That's where the function and understanding business and how to operate. Well, first thing you do when you create a P&L in a business, first thing you're doing as a business, you got to understand what all your expenses and costs is.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So when I understand what my business expenses and cost is, right? If I know I got a team or an organization being around for 5 years or more, I can go off my average enrollment or my average registration to give or take. I may be off 10, 15% plus or minus, but I can give a good impression of how many kids I'm gonna have in that org. So if I know my expenses for everything, it's gonna be $10,000 for the year. I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm not sure what it is. I'm just throwing a number out there. This ain't to no org. If it's $10,000 and I know I got 100, I know normally I have 150 kids. Divide that into what that's gonna be. So I divide 1,000 by 150, and I need to add that to the registration card. If I add that to the registration card when the parents pay, because I don't think, sometimes they may not have trouble paying. But if you come in and you say, hey, it's $350, but this $350 is gonna cover everything. You understand what I'm saying? Now, now when they pay, I ain't gotta do all that because everything is prepared in that cost, and that's what the cost is. Now, can everybody pay that? No, that's why we're gonna internally we're gonna hire us a corporate sponsorship. That's all they do. They look for corporate sponsorships because every business, it don't got to be corporate, but it can be corporate. A lot of corporate sponsors have money put to the side to give for tax write-offs, right? But we don't need to start that in June. We need somebody looking for that all year. Because if I can get you really getting in, because most of them do their quarterly things in October. So whatever I need for that following year, I really need to have all my stuff to them corporate companies for like next year, by the October 31st, I need to have all that in so it falls in the spring of that year. Now I got that money to make sure I got operations, funding for the operation to do what we need to do, and we're not relying on registration money because we're rolling like a machine.
See that, to piggyback off what you're saying, and then go back to what he's saying, finding qualified people and committed people to do something that technically, they should be getting paid for that, and they're gonna want to get paid to do that.
Yeah.
So
we can do that.
Hold on, finish.
Go ahead.
We talked about this.
We talked about this. Go ahead, finish.
Okay, y'all finish. Okay,
no,
so
because you're on to something. Because you know what we're talking about.
We were talking about this. Go
okay,
ahead.
so I'm just telling you from a presidential standpoint that everything you're saying is accurate, right on point. Now to find the right people, like to find, and you said it earlier. Getting the right people is so difficult to do work that they're not getting paid for, to do volunteer work. You gotta be passionate about it. And the dinosaur we talking about, it ain't really people that's passionate about doing stuff that ultimately, if they're already doing it and they getting paid to do it,
that's the thing. They can get paid.
They can get paid to pay volunteers.
See, a nonprofit, just because you're a nonprofit, that means we can, listen, hey, every organization, right? You can have paid volunteers.
Yeah.
This ain't illegal.
Conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is,
That caused conflict among.
But-
I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say. You tell me. But if it's operating right to do so, you got to turn your organization to like a 70-30 education to sports mindset. If to push these kind of things on the people that you need to get in front of, you got to change your organization format from 70-30 education to 30. You say, "Lanos, how you do that? How you gonna do that?" I know organizations that's right next door to Boys and Girls Club. I know some organizations that's down the street for something. What we got to do in business, see, that's why I go back to this. In business, you learn how to cross market, right? Shout out to Florida Collaborative Group and Keller Williams. We cross market.
Yeah.
When you cross market in business, now I'm gonna take your agenda and my agenda. We're gonna put them together. We're gonna cross market each other in each other framework. Now, what that's gonna do? Now I can get a room or two. I can get education. You got USF, UT. You got educational programs around here. You got nonprofit organizations around here that's looking for kids to help.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Go ahead.
Don't you know, right now, I know an organization that offer tutoring.
The Jaguars do.
Offer tutoring. How many people signed up, Coach? How many people signed up, Coach? Out of
The last time I looked, maybe 5.
Five. No, listen now. Now listen, and this is why I say it's back on the people. It's back on the parents. Because guess what? Youth football coaches, youth board members, I don't know nobody that's more disrespected than them other than stepfathers. Because we gonna let you do the job, and we got it from here.
But to piggyback off that, and that falls back on me because you know
Okay.
why? I'm gonna tell you why.
I was just finna.
That falls back on me because guess what? If I can set an agenda in place for the football side of it and say if you deviate from that, these are the consequences.
Correct.
I can do the same thing for
On the
tutor
other
part.
side.
Yep. You can. You can.
Because guess what? Pop want to do it.
Yeah.
So Pop want to do it. A lot of us don't, right? Now, as an or, I'm going to stay on the or. Y'all can touch on the other stuff because I just feel like that's what the control at. As far as the organization has the most control to control these, or hold people accountable for these. If I say, all right, this is what we're doing, so I got 4 head coaches if I had double A's. If I tell these coaches, hey, every Thursday I need the emails of every kid progress report. If I don't get a kid progress report, that kid ain't eligible. Now you just can't throw that at the parents and stuff the week of the game. That's why I said before we start conditioning, you should have a parent-player orientation.
Because that's
And
what
make it
parents do,
mandatory. If
That's
they
your
don't
attention,
come,
right?
they can't play for y'all. If you don't, these people say, man, I throw it all the time. Well, why you let them come to practice? So if I say, hey, I got a parent orientation that's mandatory, right? And nobody come, but then I throw practice that next Monday and everybody there, what they respecting? Ain't no standards being put down. Ain't nobody standing on that. So if I say, hey, coaches, I'm putting this parent orientation out there, right? I need all these sign, I need these registrations, I need these people sign off on these waivers. If the players and the parents, somebody don't show up, they can't start practicing. At least they can't start practicing until they go through this orientation. That way you set the stage like being in a relationship. If you meet a girl and y'all have an open relationship for the first year, and now you start catching feelings, now you want to tell her, hey, hey, we can't go see other people now, but you ain't tell her that when y'all first met. It was just all good when y'all met.
Yeah.
So you can't throw rules out there. I just think you set that orientation up. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to set the standard from the jump. And everybody got to stand on that standard, even if it's going to put you as a coach or organization in a bad situation when it comes to winning.
But like you say, the problem is, you know it's a problem, and you in the step in the head of the right direction when he say he can hold people accountable for it, and a lot of people won't do that. But even with that being said, and I think what you saying is correct as far as holding them standards, because these parents pick and choose when they want to hold them accountable for grades, because an F just don't show up. Mm-hmm. A F just don't show up on your child progress report. Mm-hmm. It don't show up. You gotta work to get an F and not doing nothing every day. Because even if you get it wrong, I know teachers will give you a D for effort. At least a C or a D. But to get an F, come on, man. That takes work. But then you get some people, oh, hey, coach, you know, he ain't doing right in school, X, Y, Z. Right? So, all right, did you give us an opportunity to work with him? Now, see, now this is where we're going to go back at. And parents, I don't have a problem with you because I'm a parent. But this is where we're going to go back at. You got to work hand in hand with us. Like, don't tell us Thursday that he can't play because he got 2 Fs.
Right.
Man, tell me that Monday. Like, tell me that Monday.
You knew that 2 weeks ago.
You knew that 2 weeks ago if you follow them online. They got apps where you can follow their grades and all that. Man, believe it or not, these schools call.
Yeah.
These schools call, and when they get bad enough, they'll say, man, we need a conference. You get tired of hearing that automatic table. But even with that being said, everybody got to give us an opportunity to be great. And I don't think that, I think the opportunity to be great is one-sided. And it's leaning towards the players and the parents and not the coaches and the board members. Because at the end of the day, the coaches and the board members get held accountable for everything that's football purpose, right? Everything that's sports purpose. And the board get held accountable for the finances and what the kids are getting and what they're not getting.
Or the structure.
Or the structure and the structure everything. But it's not going by, so we only got your kids 2 or 3 times out of the week. Well, 4 with the game day, right? So we need to be better students. Like he just said, only five people signed up for the tutoring program. Well, I challenge any parent or any player that's not signed up for the Jags, because I can only sweep around my own front door.
Right.
Like if you're not a part of it, you should be a part of it. Because if we're not scoring, if we're not scoring as many points as you like us to, we're not winning, and we're not winning like you think we should. At least if you're gonna hold us to that, bring your kid to the tutoring program. If he's a C student, he can be a B student. And believe it or not, some of your kids can actually help other kids with the tutoring program because they're that bright, they're that smart. Some of these kids are so intelligent that it'll scare you.
Right.
So help us help your children. And we all can be great.
Now we also got to take into consideration, it is, all parents ain't just sorry and lazy.
No.
I want to say that first.
It's not. Some of them
We do got to put in consideration the mama that's been left in a position to have to work 2-3 jobs to make sure they get ends meet. But that's what we here for.
But let me jump. It's fathers like that too.
It's fathers
We got a lot of fathers
Yeah.
they're single fathers and they taking on the role of a mother and a father. So
I'm glad you did that. Shout out Sean Moe, man.
Because it's a lot of good dudes out there that's sacrificing.
And both sides, and you know, we understand that some people do, they just got to work, but at the same time, you know, working together. I think, you know, it just go back to what I always say about Chick-fil-A and Popeye. You know, Chick-fil-A, you know, I think Popeye got better chicken. What you think?
I think Popeye got better chicken.
Don't you think Popeye got better chicken?
I try to stay away from it, man.
But
man, come on with that
we ain't talking about the health side.
If I had to eat one of the two, it'll probably be Chick-fil-A.
No.
It's Chick-fil-A.
So you said Chick-fil-A chicken better than Popeye's chicken? Not the service,
Not the sandwich. We talking about
the flavor. We
flavor.
We talking about the flavor. See, he
I
chicken in
can get me a 2-piece spicy. It gotta be spicy.
Yeah,
I can't get the regular one.
Okay.
It gotta be the spicy.
So my thing is, between Chick-fil-A and Popeye, my little theory is, I think we all choose Popeyes. But we hate going there, but we all go to Chick-fil-A because Chick-fil-A got better service, right? You go to Popeye.
You saying better service overall?
Overall.
Okay, because I know a lot of people that are good and what they do and how they service people that worked at the Popeyes. The times that I went in there.
Okay, but because you real.
Man, he full of shit.
Yeah, I done been in different sides. Listen, this ain't just for the city. I know I'm on some big boy shit right now, but I'm saying I done been to other states.
So I can't tell y'all about my experience. So I can't tell y'all about my experience.
Shit, man.
Man, I ain't gonna let y'all dog out my food, man.
Listen, I can't find one.
You can't find one where?
Man, not just the floor.
22nd Hills, bro.
All right, churches and Popeyes.
Churches
and Popeyes. Where you going at? Churches and Popeyes. Who got the better service?
Man, I'm old school. I'm going to churches.
I ain't talking about the flavor. What you talking about? He said Who got better food? Because you got to eat.
Oh, you talking about the service?
Yeah, yes.
It's all the same.
But what one worse? But what's one worse? Man, we ain't gonna talk about food. We all looking at a little fat
Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping.
No, but what you saying is the quality.
My point is, listen, my point is,
we gonna say all wrong. Okay, I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A theory thing, but it's good people that give you good service. Churches, Popeye, from my experience.
Okay.
And I've been in a lot of them. Okay.
let's put a vote out.
Go ahead.
I want to know about
Man, don't put no vote out there because the people ain't paying this right here. We ain't paying no vote out there. They ain't paying. They ain't paying. That's right. They ain't paying no money. It's about business. It's about business.
Oh, we gotta get that check.
They gotta get that check. You just said that.
No, my whole point to that was I wasn't on no fat boy shit. I was on just saying by the purpose of I was just on saying the service, the quality of the service is different. That's all.
I got that knowledge.
That's all my theory was.
I got that knowledge. Going there now. Yeah. Okay.
I went off track a little bit, but
All right, so I got a question. All right, and man, you had this conversation, Duke. How do you feel about people and about the quality of coaching? Because you opened my eyes to something because I couldn't understand it. People traveling 2 and 3 hours to play youth little league football.
It's been going on for a long time.
It's been going on but no, it's at an all-time high now. The numbers are at an all-time high now. And this is what I'm calling the coaches out in the Tampa Bay area. Because it's 27 teams that we counted. I'm pretty sure that we missed.
I think you recounted it.
It's 27 youth football teams that we counted in the Tampa Bay area. And I'm only talking to my Tampa coaches because I'm only sweeping around my own front door. I really find it I found it hurtful. I'm not going to say disrespectful that a parent feel they got to travel 2 counties away to get proper coaching. Now, B. Reed did say something last time we set up under the tent and we spoke. B. Reed say he feel like all his head coaches should go to coaching clinics.
All of them.
All of them. I think they should.
Everybody can learn something.
Everybody can learn something. But we got to get a step in the right direction in winning our kids by so they don't have to go to West Orlando. They don't have to go to Gainesville. They don't have to go to now I understand Clearwater, St. Pete, that's the Bay Area. So I'm talking to y'all too.
But even that, but that also show a lot of probably why we having this moment right here. Does it say a lot to where we at right now in the city? Now I think some of it is not for just cultural purposes. Some of it is egos and you know they're looking for something. I think every parent can kind of go. Me personally, go where you want to go because I feel like this. I ain't gonna shoot. I ain't gonna say nothing. But it ain't just culture.
Why we here?
I'm just gonna say that.
It's
more than just you being a coach. You got to be a good communicator. You got to be someone that, especially when things get tough and everybody on you, this, that, and third. You got to be built
for
the criticism that comes with it.
Right.
And a lot of times, we can be built for it 364 days out the year. Mm-hmm. But that one day, I'm overwhelmed with it, right? And that one time can make you seem like you really not that coach, or you really not built for being an impotent part of youth sports. But the X's and O's, yeah, we all could be better with that. But there's several coaches around here that I would take my son to go play for because first, not just the X's and O's, is because they demonstrate themselves as good dudes, good human beings.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got to get back to that.
Right.
First, let's make sure we got good people in these leadership roles. I didn't say perfect people.
Right.
I said good people
with the right intentions.
With the right intentions for the kids.
Right, for the kid.
Because I know a lot of dudes around here, right?
Right.
And I don't necessarily like how they carry themselves or what they do, but one thing I can say about them, and I respect that, the kids gravitate to them.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Right.
They get kids' attention.
Right.
Meaning, if you can get kids' attention, that means you can get through to them.
Right.
It's gonna be a moment where they gonna have to listen to somebody. Boy, I know they gonna listen to you.
Right.
So whatever you doing within this football platform, I'm all for you.
Right.
I'm with you.
Right.
I'm gonna support you and all that.
Right.
Outside of it, might be a different story.
Right.
Because that ain't what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But to not to detour off the topic, good communicators, good people knowing how to service parents as well as kids.
Correct.
It's big with coaching as well now because of the generation we dealing with. We dealing with a generation that we still raising the parents as well as the kids.
With kids, right.
Especially when something happened, when we got there at 100, now we got to get them back down. We got to get them to come down.
Right.
So they can hear what we're saying.
Right.
Opposed to saying, I'm just finna get rid of this parent, man, because I'm sick, We got to find a way to get through to these parents at times.
Right.
As well, if we want to help this child. Because what have I experienced happening is, the kid loves his environment. He loves his peers. He loves his coaches.
Right.
But the parent
Is having the trouble. Is having the issue.
Right. So more effort probably needed to be put into, like, once again, the parent, as far as, okay, we got tutoring now. Now let's offer more things for the parent and what we just talked about.
We was just talking about, like prime example, I went to an organization one time which I thought something was real dope. They had a mom club and a dad club.
Right, okay, that's
right.
Mm-hmm.
So now the OR set this up. So this is why I keep going back to that point. The OR set this as you can label them, if you want to label them, a paying coordinator. Somebody that can keep the noise down. Because what the mom and the dad club, you can have the dad club help the cheer squad. So some of these young girls who don't have a father, or if people, it's kind of finicky these days with that, you can have the mom help the cheerleader, have the dads help the coaches on the field to help with the young men, right? But what they did for the most part was they was the ones to get parents more involved. You can set up health stuff. We can set up stuff for credit. Because everybody want to help get their credit. Help do stuff at the field to help bring the parents out something that's going to benefit them as well. Maybe we can bring somebody to help them with the credit. You can have every boot camp, but have somebody come out there do a boot camp every Thursday for people who on a health journey and trying to get themselves back, back together. Have stuff out there too to help the parents.
Right.
And also those mom and dad clubs, you want to put them in the crowd because oftentimes when it's something brewing, they gonna hear it first. So if you normally when you can catch a storm, like right now when a hurricane comes, how we can catch it and prepare for it, because they see it out there in the Gulf before it happens. A hurricane, we do not get a category 4 don't come through here without us knowing 3, 4, 5 day weeks before it comes. How they did that? Because they was able to, out there with the weather thing, they could see the storm coming. If you had them parents in your crowd, a parent coordinator, mom and dad's club, they had you. Hey, I heard Johnny Daddy was kind of pissed off about what's going on. Okay, now somebody can maybe talk to Johnny Daddy on a level head before it get out of hand and say, hey, let's have an intervention and try to stop stuff before it even become an issue out there. Y'all know what I'm talking about, because a lot of stuff start internally.
It start right in that parking lot.
Right.
It start right where the parents sit up under the
tree,
up under the pavilion, the tree. And that's how the fact about it, we should get our injury report from the parents.
Right.
That's how you might well go to get your injury report, your overs and unders and all that type of stuff they get from the parents,
Got everything.
But like I said, like what he said, going back to because a lot of these parents feel like they got to go out of the county to chase whatever they got to chase. But I just feel like, man, we offer a great service right here. And I'm just not talking about the Tampa Bay area Jags. I'm talking about the Brandon Bears offer something we don't offer. The Progress Village offer something we don't offer. The West Tampa Spires. I'm just saying, it's just so many teams. I just feel like that can service, but like you said, it's different reasons why they go, and it's different reasons that because he had to bring it to mind. Because I was like, man, why they do that? Well, you can't be mad at what nobody do with their child. They don't always have their best interest for their child.
Right.
So with that being said, it's like I just want our coaches to let's step our game up, because I'm tired of seeing Tampa kid run into a kid in Tampa and say, well, who you play for? Oh, I play for the West Orlando Jags. And that's a great thing to get a kid to go through Disney Trap, to go there and practice.
Right.
So they offer something good over there. I want to know what it is. That's been a competitor and a contender.
Right.
And what they doing that we not doing that we need to do. And I give people their flowers, because that's a great thing to pull kids in a different direction.
I think we just got to get back to, just like, again, business, you evaluate yourself at the end of every year, right, to see how you can do better the next year. I think as coaches, as men, you should be doing that every year anyway. So oftentimes it just come back to, reevaluate your situation and seeing, do you need to come back? Do you need to line it? Do you need to align your organization back on a different sometimes if you know, it's hard. You know, shit, you've been doing stuff for so long. It's hard to say, hey, we're gonna go back to this, or we're gonna start doing this to try to see if we get better results. Like we talked about before, like I think every organization we should have one playbook. Help you like we talk about the coaches, right? And we talk about volunteers, and we all agree that some people just volunteer their time. Some people, see, we can't expect just because a coach volunteer that he's a professional or he gonna be good. That ain't gonna be the case 9 out of 10 times. So I believe, again, or if I set the structure, you may not know how to set up a practice. If I had the structure already set up, well, I can plug and play, because that's what kind of generation we in anyway. That means no matter who come, there's already a machine that's running. You know, and I set it up to where everybody will do the same playbook. Now, at every level, it'll get a little bit more in detail. You still get a coach of power to call the plays, but let's teach them how to coach. Let's have it set up to where they ain't got to think about how to set up a practice. They just got to fill in what they gonna do. Now, everybody not gonna be down for that, but you know what? That's good. That's a filter. That's what you want. See, the problem is we have no filter to shake that bad shit out. Yeah. You let that be the filter, because if you coming with the right intention, if I was coming your organization with the right intention, and you told me, hey, Carter, hey, this is the schedule we go off of, this is the thing, this how we. If I got the right intention, I ain't got no problem doing it. 9 out of 10, I probably don't know how to set up a practice anyway. And I probably need to come to you. Hey, what's individuals? Hey, what's this right here? So if you set that up, when they come in, it's like Randy Moss went to the Patriots. Everybody was saying Randy Moss off the chain. When he went to New England, did we hear anything from Randy Moss and his outside answers when he went to New England that people were saying he had? We don't know this, but I'm saying from the media.
Yeah.
So the reason why, because when he went to New England, it was already a protocol. It was already a standard that was set to where it ain't no deviating from it. You just got to go follow the protocol. And if you with that, then cool, let's move forward. If you're not with that, then we Antonio Brown, you there for 2-3 weeks, and you get on about your business, right? Because I can't make you do it, but I'm telling you this how we move. So you can get with it, or you can not get with it, and you can go to another organization. But my standard at my org, this is what it is. This how it's gonna be. And you know what? You probably just save yourself a headache. You probably just saved yourself something down the line that you gotta go through. Because if you can't, it go back to what I believe both of y'all were saying, that setting. Sometimes don't stand like your thing with the gloves and the drip. Yeah. Sometimes that's just to see as a kid gonna confine. Can you adapt to authority?
Right.
It may not be for nothing else. Something just, hey, we don't do wristband. Oh, that may cause just to see. Can you do it? That can help your SOP when you bringing these coaches in, these volunteers in, to be part of your organization. Yeah. They need to go to a filter, right? And if I could create a system to where I don't really have to have the best coach. Think about it, these coaches in college get all around. They get moved one year to another year. They don't know this man's system. It's just Nick Saban is the prime example. Nick Saban know every OC that come to him 9 out of 10 was an ex-head coach that got in some trouble or lost their job. They're going to be there for a couple of years, build their profile back up. They're going to go to another school. He know that. He know Lane Kiffin was leaving. Yeah. He know Steve Cartesian, whatever, who had he knew he was leaving. But it ain't about them. And people don't realize Alabama, no matter what, who come and who go, who set records in the offense, who don't, every year they continue to be competitive. You know why? Because it's the system. It's what he set up, what they going off of. Now, if they can come in and get with this, it's cool, but it allow him to plug and play. And no matter who come in, his system is going to continue to progress because he already got something in place that he set up, that he know going to work, because we got the experience to know what's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, but
that take effort.
In the situation,
it take effort, and you getting the right people to be committed. Because the problem is, in a perfect world, that will work. That will work in a perfect world. But the world we in right now, because we got so many individuals,
not team players,
with the right motives and the right intentions in place. There's never been a bigger time where you had within anybody organization when all they worried about was just them.
Right.
See, back in the days, we all supported each other. Whether I coached 12U, you coached 8U, boy, we supported
I
each
coached
other.
at the Raiders. He don't remember this. I had a kid, my first year coach, I had a kid had red cleats. I was coaching at the Raiders. I forgot, you wasn't even coaching my level. You saw the kid with the red cleat. And you say, "Low, man, get that boy some cleats." Because he had on red, he didn't look. He didn't, he looked it off. He had, matter of fact, he had on baseball cleats, red cleats. And I think you had a kid that had some extra cleats. And you gave that boy them cleats. You had the parent gave the boy them cleats. Something I didn't even look at, but I went to Raiders, you went to Jazz, and you did, and you don't remember that was.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
No, but this is the thing about it though, dude. Like he said, and you know what's crazy? Your biggest asset is the worst weapon against you, and that's your heart. In today's time, your heart is your biggest tool, but it's the biggest weapon formed against you because you got one. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy.
That's real crazy.
That's crazy.
Because the way it is now, it ain't no, just like you said, one time, all the giant levels was in Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. And it was because we supported each other. Right. I mean, if I had to pick up a kid that was on 14U and I coached 6, I didn't question that, especially if I was going that
on
way.
That side of town.
I'm going that way. I got
that area.
Right. If I had a kid that was with you that was hungry, don't worry about it. He gonna eat.
Right.
You know, and at the same time, don't get me wrong, we had our disagreements, but it was always respectfully, and we understood each other. Well, we left there on the same page, but we respected one another because we understood the structure by what you're saying and what it's about.
Right.
It ain't about
the big picture.
Man, it's big picture. There's too much hating in the agenda.
Too much hating in your house.
Inside of your house.
Sometimes you go to, how many times you go to a business and they got what? New management.
Yeah.
What they trying to do? They trying to let the people know, hey, we operate the same in the past.
Yeah.
Ownership or leadership, right? So even though, like I say, I think this for any organization, especially one starting, I think this would be the biggest thing, man, that can have your own filter, is put those systems in place. Because I'm telling you, people that's, like you say, in the perfect world, I think it's so many people, we got so many more people here in Tampa that put that shit out there. Yeah, it may turn Tito and it may turn them away from you, but guess what? That's all right.
That's all right.
Because because the people that's gonna come, because somebody gonna come.
Somebody gonna
your name there.
Right.
It's somebody gonna feel it. It may not be people you know, or that's why you got a system. If I got a system, I don't need everybody. I just need everybody to come do their role, because everything's set up. The time we practice, you give it to them through an email. Coaches get a welcome thing, and these are the requirements. Same like we said, what? Set up an orientation for the parents to let them know off the bike what it is. You don't think as an org we need to do that with the coaches before they sign up? Before I let you be my AU coach, I need to know you understand what we got going on. From off the rip. Off the rip. It's the same thing I said with the woman. You just can't switch it. Off the rip, when you sign up, because we got standards, protocol, SOP, it's a business.
Yeah.
Right? That coach need to sign off that he agree
and understand the requirements and the standards of the organization. So if you around here with or we not standing on that, I think that's how we getting the shit we getting. It ain't that other people won't come. It may not be people we know or won't, but somebody gonna come fill the role, because somebody gonna like the fact that y'all standing on this, and we not wavering for lights or wins or nothing like that. We trying to do what's right. And guess what? You're going to create a culture that you want by doing these things. But if it ain't no principles, if it ain't no SOP put in progress to filter out these coaches, to filter out the parents, if it ain't none of that in place, you're going to continue getting these kind of coaches or these kind of parents, because you ain't standing on those standards. In a sense, even if the standards are there, who opening up the book and look, hey, now you got to stand on that, because if you do that, you won't have to worry. You'll filter them old people, them coaches that you say want to do their own thing. Guess what? They ain't gonna want to do what you talking about. Right.
I'm good with that.
And guess what?
I know where you going.
No, I don't think you know where I'm going.
I know where you going.
No. You don't know where I'm going. Go. You're absolutely right. But what got to happen for us to make a change or a difference, them same 27 organizations that we named, we all got to get in line with that. because that's the only way we gonna bring this back to where it need to be.
Yeah.
And how we know these kids gonna prosper and go on and be better people from
Plus
it.
they help Tampa.
Tampa.
Right.
If we start in Tampa with all 27 of these other organizations, the same concept that you saying that could be put in place, which is a wonderful idea. If we had 50% of the team of the 27 that buy into that, you would see a difference. Because what happens is a lot of these coaches and parents wouldn't have many options. See, they got too many options.
Right.
Too many options.
They got too many options.
But when they see when you come how you operate,
Yeah.
they gonna see it like, and all this bullshit going on over here. I'm finna go. It won't matter if you win or not. They gonna see the difference. They gonna see you running like a well-oiled machine from top to bottom, not just on the field, but from top to bottom. You gonna see it. For one, you're gonna have a profitable organization where you can pay your volunteers
And you can lower the registration.
Registration.
And then we can have everything running as a model. You can, and then you got parents that need help, got multiple kids. I'm gonna set a payment plan from January. So don't wait till June to pay. Start paying, it's $350 a kid. We'll give you a multi-family discount, whatever, and then you start paying a monthly fee. So now when June come around, guess what? You ain't got to worry about that $1,000 or whatever you got to pay. It's already took care of because we set it up. I just think, even if you don't get all 27 to do it, maybe you got to come be the Amazon and take over. Because what happened is, it ain't just Tampa people here no more. It's a lot of people in the military and stuff like that that's looking for this kind of standard. You understand what I'm saying? They looking, people always used to say, one thing I say, like people, when you go to an organization, you see they're organized. Because a lot of people, we have a stigma of looking unorganized, unprofessional, and not knowing how to operate properly, right? So this is why I'm going on this angle, because this is the protocol, whether it's like you said, I'm not with nobody. I don't coach. So this ain't just Jazz, this ain't just Bears or Progress Village or Bills. This for anybody. This for any team this just through my experience of coaching. This some game that I'm just trying to give to whoever to do it to help the city.
And today, this is the only time you're going to get it for free.
That's it.
And if any organization, I'm talking about leaders, you're in leadership and you want to be a part of this movement, let's go ahead and start linking up and reaching out early and building a rapport. And guess what? You'll be surprised because at some point, somebody gonna leave me with the structure put in place, and I'm gonna get a call. Dude, I got such over here, and I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna be honest with you what's going on with it.
Right.
Now, if you on what I'm on,
right.
Hey, no, ma'am, this ain't gonna be the place for you either.
Right.
Based on we got structures, we got things in place, and protocol we won't follow. So this ain't gonna be respectfully. This ain't gonna be the place for you.
Right.
If they start hearing enough of that, everywhere they go, because we've created
a platform.
We've created a platform that all these organizations understand that we're not gonna get away from it, no matter how good the kid is or how much money the parent got. We're not gonna get away from it as the new world order.
Right.
The new world order.
Yeah.
The new world order.
Yeah.
We will see a difference. I'm talking about right away. Everybody ain't gonna go for it. That's true.
Right.
That's good.
But that's
guess
good.
what? That's good.
You want that.
And we gotta all understand that.
Right.
We gotta all understand that. And I don't know no matter how tough it get, we got to be supportive of one another. Whatever happens on the football field, that's the football field. But when it comes back to the business, we all should be on the same platform and on the same level, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna make it a lot better on the football field for everybody.
And let's take person out of it, because we done experienced this. Just because this message, you heard it from Duke, this is a universal message. Because a lot of y'all get up there and get caught up, oh, I ain't doing it because the Jaguars doing it. I ain't doing it because Duke. Right. This ain't Duke doing. This is not Duke doing. Because anybody jumping those DMs, we may look at you to lead it. Or we may look for your ideas first. So we ain't trying to get you to come in to follow our order or our rule. We're trying to build one.
Right.
And then building one, take the personal out of it. Take because you don't like because the Jaguars was winning 10 years ago, or you and so had an argument. Take that out of it. We trying to build an alliance with these youth football teams in Tampa because it's our city.
Right.
And then guess what? We ain't got to travel to all these places that have no big tournament because we can do that amongst ourselves. This order we trying to put in place is for structure.
Right.
That where the structure that lead to other things that'll be profitable for everyone. So take personal out of it.
I also think to help the city, we got to go back to double A's.
I disagree.
Now let me tell you why I say that.
I know. I get it.
I'm gonna tell you why I say because this gonna be good. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
let's talk about it. When I first saw that going on right now, I'm very half of my other family is down. So I'm very affiliated with how we operate, culture wise. I think the culture down there is different. How we operate, how they operate. The biggest
Your
thing.
family from where? I'm sorry, I ain't hear. I missed that. You said
Down south of here.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
So when we talk about that, right? For one, they able to do single A's down south because they double our population. We're bigger as a landmass, but from years, if you look right now, they double our population.
True story.
So they're able. If you look at most of their schools is higher. Got 7, 8, 8. High schools because of the number of people that's there, right? So when you come here, if they double our population, there's no way we can have a successful league or area with single age because of the population alone. If you look right now, it's only going to be 3 teams able to fill their rosters every year. Jags, Bears, Panthers. Every year. Everything else there going to be lopsided of 2. Now, when you look at this, people say, well, it's about development. Okay, let's talk. If it's about development.
Let me go back there. I'm going to throw in there real quick. When you say the Bears, Jags, Panthers. Out of them 27 organizations we counted, I can name 8 of them that can combine, merge with somebody else, and do single A's.
Now you talking a whole lot.
Keep going. Keep going.
But I agree with both of them.
Let me tell you. Now those 2017, because if that can happen, ain't no way we'll be at 27 goddamn teams if they can come together. Think about it. Why we got 27
Egos, man.
If that was the case, we wouldn't have 27 teams.
But keep going. I just want to
so now you got 3 organizations. Pretty much they taking up the majority of the kids, right? So the other organizations is on life support from the board to the registration, right? So if you do single A, you got each. Not even holding cheerleaders. You're talking about 300 to 400 kids per park. Per park. So when you think about that, they don't even give us parks to practice at for them. So where you going to hold them 400 kids at, plus the cheerleader, plus the parents? Where you going to hold them at?
That makes sense.
So now,
we already doing
now people say, well, Lo,
we had a park.
People will say, well, Lo, I believe in for the development and the kids don't have to wait. Well, this is the thing. I come from an age group, coming from the Vikings, and every year I ever played football all the way through college. I never just played against freshmen or only sophomores or only juniors or only senior. People say, well, that's high school. No, it ain't no different. If your kid is on 8U and he was the man, and he have to come to 10U. Now, he don't have to come to 10U and take a back seat if he that guy. Sometimes that's that adversity I was talking about. If you got a guy that's coming from 8U to 10U, which we just saw it happen before, the dogs ain't never go to 10U and have to wait for nothing because you that gifted and you ready. Now
you saying a kid going from 8 years old and gonna play with 10-year-old kid.
When he
has to go to 9U. So you got an 8U kid. The following year he gonna be on 10U.
Okay, if it was
double A. Now if he a dog, he'll have a role. If and this is the thing.
But everybody's not a dog.
But wait.
Everybody's not a dog.
That's okay, because in life, listen, that's my point. everybody, it's okay for your kid to go through that adversity and have to go through that transition to get back to where he was at as an 8U. That's gonna build character. That's gonna make him better.
But I think he still
What?
get it. But what's your take on it?
I'll take on
As far as why you think
it's based off the things that he's saying. If I got an 8-year-old kid that's not a dog, I'm gonna focus more on the kids that's not developed. Right. You put more development in them. That's how they become dogs. The ones that God just gave stuff to, boy, they ain't got nothing to do with. Boy, coaches stop taking credit for it. It ain't got nothing to do with that between him, God, and his parents. Right. Stop taking credit for it. But we already know that's a low percentage. So we got to deal with the higher percentage. The higher percentage kids, they're not.
Stop at 10 you did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stop at 10 you did.
6, 7, 8,
Stop at 10 you did.
Now you on to something.
Stop.
I agree with
Stop
that.
at 10.
That's why I said I was torn.
You on to something.
Stop at 10.
But if we talk about
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
that we gonna put energy into developing these kids, we gotta find the way that's gonna develop the masses, not the dogs. Cause we know the dog. The dog's probably gonna be more mental than anything. That's gonna be
They're
their
gonna
problem.
go through a transition too.
Yeah, they are.
Some of them they gonna go
Right,
off and they
they
gonna
are.
have to.
Yes.
It ain't gonna be what they were.
Right. But the ones that need to be developed, sometimes, no, I ain't gonna say sometimes, majority of the times, they need that time to feel, to get that confidence up. That's one. Confidence is big in development.
I believe that. I'm with
Because
that.
even if
I agree with that.
even if you're not improving at a rapid rate, but you're still making steps, that's because your confidence there. The coach he's installing that confidence that you need because of where you at as far as the kind of player that you are. So confidence, I give you an opportunity for a kid to get more valuable reps, especially at a lower level. You can't tell me a kid that ain't a dog is gonna get the same kind of reps when he waiting behind somebody for him to be at the top side of the age group.
Now let me go back to it. Let me go back to it. So this go back to what we doing it for.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The kids.
So the kids. Okay. So if I got, and I see, and we all see this, I know teams got 32 kids,
Okay.
about 14 play.
Okay.
Now the reason why the other 15
That's in double age and single age. Both of them.
Both
Keep
of
going.
them. Now the reason why, and this also coaches why you probably can't go to national, because you ain't developing them other 15. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I learned this through coaching. I had a challenging year that year. We merged. Seahawks 49.
Yeah.
I ain't had that depth I had that year before with the Raiders.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
that.
remember I had to take two of my best players off my O-line, Darius and Jeremiah Burnett. I had to take them off the O-line.
Yeah.
I had to keep them on defense and bring in two kids that I don't know if they played football before this year.
But you had to coach him.
But I had to coach them up, and I knew if I did that, I made that move week 2. I wish I would have made it before the season, because they would have came along.
I remember that.
They would have came. That was my coach. That was my biggest coaching point that year. That's what got me to the Super Bowl. Because if I'm not developing that other kids, so I got 32 kids. I got 14 dogs that you want to go with. You got out of those other 15. You got to get your next best 11 and get them ready and have them go every day. They need to go practice defense. They can be your star in defense. Now, when they get inside the 40, you can put your black defense in and let them go hold it down. But watch how when them kids go with the defense coaches every day, and you got 60 linemen, they go do indies with their linemen. You go do run fits with the linebackers every day. You work with those kids gonna get better. They might not be better as your other kids, but by week 5, week 6, they gonna be. You gonna see them going from 1 or 2 series when you first start off to, but they're gonna be able to hold off. Now think about what that do for your team if you able to come every day and get inside run, 1-on-1, so 7-on-7. You know, you got some people that understand they go back to structure and practice correctly. So every 32 can get work. So they can't get work. It ain't got nothing to do with the age group. They not getting work because you can right now. You say you got the same problem going with the single age. That's a lack of knowing how to practice issue. That's if you're not developing these other kids, they ain't got nothing to do with the age group. That got everything to do with you not structuring your practice correctly. You got 8 kids that's over there playing throw-up type of probably.
So what makes double A's better? If you say it's in both, so what makes double A's better?
Double A's it's just football for one. Hold on.
No, but hold
college football at every level, you never gonna play your age. Listen, when I got to college, I know what I look like now. I was 155.
Even in single age, you ain't gonna necessarily play everybody your age.
Yeah,
because the way
they got
the gate set up.
Right.
But so we can agree.
But for the city, I'm you know what I'm gonna say double A better? I'm gonna say it for this reason only. Now I'm gonna take the development, I'm gonna take for the bodies. For people to survive, for the number of people. And for the part, not because we can talk about this all we want. We really need to all of us need to come together and have our ass in front of the city and try to figure out what we can do to get goddamn fields so we can properly train and teach the kids. It's a lot of oils they don't support us. Like I go to Orlando, these people got great parts, and St. Pete too. We got to get the city
and the county
to work with us on giving us good facilities so we can create that safe haven.
But so it goes back, okay? It goes back because I deal with folks in the city and the county. It goes back to what we saying is making this platform once what it was.
Right.
How do you get people to support something that's got so many uncertainties involved with it?
Yeah.
When you don't know what you're gonna get week in and week out on a Saturday, for sure on Saturdays. We know things happen. Things gonna happen.
Right.
But the type of things that's happening is at a whole time high that shouldn't be happening.
Right.
Right? So how do you get the county and the city to be fully committed and to doing everything that we request and everything we want without them sitting at the table saying, okay.
Us, our organization, taking the time, putting a business plan together, and executing that plan so they can see. We can go tell the county all we want now, man. We didn't change it up. Go check us out. They ain't got who got time. Who got?
I think the county's biggest problem.
I mean, as far as, but it goes back to the structure because we get the structure in place.
Correct.
We get the right people and parents in place, which opens the county eyes.
Correct.
Okay, they got this.
That's what.
Okay, I go.
That's
with
what
that.
I'm saying. It go back.
I go with that because that's one of the major problems.
We get our shit together,
Yes.
and then we go to them.
Okay.
So
we
is it
can't
fair
go
to
to them
say-
when our shit ain't together.
Right,
You
okay,
can't.
I agree with that.
You can't do that.
So it's fair to say, single age is up to 10.
I think that's what
You can live with that.
I can live with that.
And you can live with 10.
Because
and
I'm
up.
big on it's true on the development part. That's what I'm big on, and I know that from my experience, from coming from double age and having a kid that's 9 competing with 10. Yeah, he's competing, but he's not getting the number of reps that he would possibly get if he played with his age group. Not down, because at one time, we can go back, we had overlighters, which was an advantage.
That's why we went on.
Hold on.
That was an advantage.
Hold on.
But you never talk about that.
Hold on.
Talk about that. We had overlighters.
Hey, we got to say some stuff for other segments.
We had the overlighters.
Okay.
We had the overlighters.
Okay.
We just say confidence is one of the biggest things, right?
Yeah. But that's the same thing. It's the same
Okay.
thing. All right, so move right along because we coming up on end of things,
Okay,
right?
all right.
We got our segment. Are they for real or are they fool's gold? This is our high school segment, and we got some good football teams in the Tampa Bay area. And I'm gonna start off with the first, Sumner High School, undefeated. Alonzo Ashwood them got some great things going on. They just defeated Rob Bayham over at Warden. Do y'all think they for real or fool's gold?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna stay out of this discussion.
No, you can't. We on it.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
I got kids, whether they played for me.
No. We got kids on here.
Just hear it from
You
me.
gotta be honest.
I'm being honest.
No, you gotta choose, coach.
What I'm
Coach, you gotta
choosing?
choose. Are they for real or fool's gold?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Everybody is for real on that, as far as I'm concerned. So you got my answer for everybody already.
Oh, so that's what you doing. Well, I ain't
I'm
gonna
for
say.
real.
No, listen.
Something is for real.
No. Something for real. Okay, TC, Tampa Catholic. They done dropped too.
For real.
I can't say they for real right now, Jared. So you my brother, and you look like you gold plated. We got to get things over there. We got to get things back on up in the end. And we got the right talent. We got all that things that just not aligning. And I feel like they can play better football over there, to be honest.
You know, me and Jay might used to talk all the time, and I think he will. I think he gotta keep focusing on building the program because they got a lot of good stuff going on with the facilities and everything over there.
Yeah,
Jay,
great
my
things.
brother, I think you know you know, just like Deion there, everybody gonna take some licks on the chin, but I think they just gotta get back to locking in and focusing on them. And
No, I had to say that because they think I'm Tampa Catholic biased. So I'm gonna start off with what I'm attached to. You know, we used to win it, and we done dropped two big games. Clearwater Catholic, and we got beat by Berkeley.
Two good teams, but I think Tampa Catholic better than that. I think they better than that, but right now they got to prove to the people. Right now he got to show me he can do it.
All right, so his jury's still in the blue thing determined. All right, Armwood beat Venice. Armwood was undefeated. No, who did they lose to? They lost one
to Jesuit.
No, they lost to Lakeland.
They lost to Lakeland. That was a good game. Good game to Lakeland.
They lost to Jesuit.
And they just lost to Jesuit. Do you think they're for real or fools?
I still think they for real. They got it's a lot of talent on that team. You know what I'm saying?
I think they for real, but I'm surprised that the Jesuit lost though.
I'm surprised at that too. No disrespect to Jesuit, but I'm surprised that I lost too.
I called it to tell you why I'm not surprised.
Okay.
People don't understand this. Jesuit been playing dogs all year. They played Jones. They played Treasure Coast. They played Miami Columbus. Those teams battle tested. Now Miami Columbus game, they should have won. You had one play swung that whole game. And they was head to head with Treasure Coast. People don't realize. I saw, you know. So what I'm saying is, what I'm looking at right now, until it can be turned different. I think Armwood for real. I think they got a recipe to go far in the playoffs. I think they got to get back to feeding their strength. Their strength is in that backfield, and they got a massive O line.
Right.
They got to pose their will a little more. Continue feeding Makai and them boys and putting their players and making defenses deal with them.
Okay. What do you feel about Tampa Bay Tech? Now they just beat Gaither. Gaither's a sleeper.
Nah, I think Gaither got talent. They don't have the. I don't think
Gaither don't have the depth.
Gaither got some enormous talent on there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's what's gonna hurt Gaither. I think is up front and depth.
Right.
To compete with
the
Armwood and Jesuits.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be hard for them up front. If you're struggling up front, we just saw Deion struggle up front on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
That was the difference between Oregon and them.
So
up front.
So you feel like Tech is for real?
Tech, I think Tech can be a more disciplined team.
I
think if they become a little bit more disciplined team, I think a lot of their games would be a lot different, especially so far because they got too much talent. They got too much talent.
I think Tech team is the most. If you go player for player, they probably the most talented team in the city.
Exactly.
So we got to ask ourselves this though. But this been going on for years.
Well, not when I played there, but keep going.
A
long time ago. Keep going.
Go ahead.
No. They ain't got no district from what I know. Y'all don't got no district.
Tech do got a district.
No,
no.
Oh, no, they don't have no school district.
They ain't got no school.
They can get everybody to come in.
Right.
And I got coaching for that. And like I say, I know some of the kids, and they got some of the most talented kids on that team.
We coached a few of them.
Tech should be representing Tampa every year, and I ain't talking about how they represent against St. Thomas Aquinas. Tech should be representing the city every year in the state.
But to be honest, until their defense, they do. They always in the third round of the playoffs, and you know.
But that's where the city.
No, listen.
We can't set the standard.
No.
I told KK this. We cannot set the standard, especially right now where I think football is we not what it was until we can't set the standard.
Listen to what I'm saying.
To the city.
Listen to what I'm saying. They have been consistent. Let's say that.
And when
okay.
I know. Listen. They have been consistent. And not only have they been consistent, they've been in the third round of the playoffs. Listen. A lot of luck coming in that state championship. A lot of things got to happen, right? Mm-hmm. It did happen one year. It happened one year for them, and they actually made it. And then they dropped the bomb against St. Thomas Aquinas, right? But to get to the game, a lot of stuff got to happen. And once you get there, you got to play the game.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm gonna stay on Tampa Bay Tech. You said all the accomplishments that they had in the last 4-5 years.
Yeah.
So I mean they set the standard high as far as when it comes to Tampa Bay Tech now.
But they got a young quarterback too.
Well, they still got the same coaches, don't they?
Yeah.
Right. So
not all.
Okay.
No, for the most part.
For the most part,
yeah.
But they got some good coaches. Let me put that out right now.
I think they got some good coaches. I think he's helped them a lot
Right.
Kevin Harlan helped them a lot defensively
Right.
on that side of the ball. Not
Right.
saying the other coaches were doing bad, but you can see the difference.
You definitely can see the difference. So they got good coaches and they got quality dudes. I'm gonna put that in there too. But the bar has been set up here now because that's where it's at now.
Right.
So when is it gonna be like, well, you keep getting there, but you ain't getting over the hump.
So you taking it to the dance, but you ain't taking it home. That's what you're saying.
So
Does it matter if you go to the dance?
yeah, you're right.
What
when you just said they got all the talent.
Well, I tell you what.
What the
I tell you what.
They got all the talent.
Well, the jury's still out on Tech, but who's the big dog in Southampton? Who's the big dog in Southampton?
Right now, I gotta say, out of Plant and Robinson,
Out of Plant and Robinson.
I gotta go. I gotta say Plant right now.
Plant and Scrappy. And
Plant
Robinson and
Scrappy
Foosgo. Robinson and Foosgo.
I say Plant, but I would say Robinson. They maybe a year or two away.
I think about a year or two away.
year or two
I think he'll. Because one thing we can, regardless of where we stand in the equation, might know how to get a team. You got to remember now, he's good at putting a team together. Now we can talk about the X's and O's, but when it comes to if he ever just stood to. I'm talking about it kind of, I'm talking about everything, the sponsor. I'm talking about putting it all together, the big picture.
Yeah, he can put a team together.
He good at doing that.
Well, why are we going to be critical of the coaches at Tech and not critical of him?
Okay, I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. No, Robinson got programs that get kids in there.
No.
Yes, they do.
Robinson have the same talent as Tech. They ain't had that since Zane Gilmore and Daz them.
All right,
I'm going to go by the Jesuit. If Jesuit had Tech teams,
they'll be state. They'll win state.
What make y'all say that?
Listen to me. Let me tell you why. We all know Jesuit really, you got to come in down there as a freshman. They really don't even get sophomore transfer.
Y'all sound like Tech haters.
I'm getting
Tech haters.
Okay. This is what I'm telling you. St. Thomas you can be a senior and go to St. Thomas. Jesuit, you think about it. Nobody going there 5-star. You got to come in as a freshman. So that means whatever come in the door, and we know they don't let everybody in there. So they coaching kids this kid starting at Jesuit probably never played football before till they got to high school. And they taking these kids, and who's been more consistent than Jesuit in the city for the last 7 years? And they don't get sophomore transfers. You down there got to come in as a freshman, and they got to bring you through as a.
Man, this sound like you got Jesuit ties.
Coaching over there.
No.
Over there now.
I will take
nothing over there. They coaching over there.
Listen, that's what I will say.
I'm not saying that Tech ain't coaching, but I just look at the body of work and what a coach working with, opposed to.
You gotta look at that.
All right. So with that being said, lineman for lineman. Now we gonna be honest. Lineman for lineman. Offensive lineman, Tech don't have an offensive lineman.
Yes, they do.
No, listen. Wait. They do not have the offensive lineman that Jesuit have.
They don't have coaches. They do. They bigger.
Man, they got
bigger in the
They don't have the coaching. All right, they don't have the offensive lineman.
No, but you said they don't have the players. They got the sides and
They got trenches, dog. They got trenches, dog.
They have trenches now. With the transfer from Sumner.
They have trenches last year.
How you going to stay with no trenches?
No, listen.
How you gonna stay with no trenches?
A lot of those kids were big. Now let's get into it.
Oh man,
a lot of those kids. No, listen, man. Some of that shit got to do with dog. And y'all can say what you want to. And guess what? I coach some of those kids. Man, that stuff got to do with dogs.
So you saying the kids got more dog than the Tech
up front last year when they went to state? No, you talking to kids that want to Joe Brad Smith?
Look, he don't want to say it.
He don't want to say it.
But you know what it is. You don't want to say it.
Say what?
What you ain't saying?
What I ain't saying?
What you beating around the bush?
What am I beating around the bush?
Truthfully, this argument. This is not about players' athleticism.
No.
This is something bigger. You don't want to say it.
What?
Tell the people.
Tell the people what?
Tell the people. The people waiting on you to say what you saying.
Because y'all feel like it's coaching?
No.
Y'all. I'm not just gonna say it.
You just said it.
What? I say because you all feel like it's the two of you.
No,
that's what you said.
I say I'm getting vibes. I said I'm getting vibes.
You get vibes.
Listen,
they don't want to listen.
I went to Jefferson, man. He went to Tech. I love the shit. I went to Jefferson.
What's going on at Jefferson? Let's talk about that. You want to Jefferson?
We ain't talking
No.
Yeah, he's not on the list. Where you hell? You hell, bro. Where you hell?
Jefferson
And you hell.
something else right now.
Yeah, Jefferson on the list.
So how can I give it to my little brother Jared McIntyre? I can give it to them hard, right? But y'all don't want to give. Jefferson ain't on the list. Jefferson been no. This is why I'm holding him accountable. No, this is why I'm holding him accountable. No, I don't care. No. He brought up Jefferson. This is why I'm holding him accountable. It's guys like you that don't go back to your alma mater and give back.
That's about settlement. We gonna talk about that right now. No, we ain't gonna talk about that right now.
Okay.
We're not gonna talk about that right now.
Y'all want to wait till next week? Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Give me Jefferson by himself. Give me a segment with Jefferson by myself.
That's it.
I'm gonna give it to you.
That's it. We talking about. Can we finish this?
All right, y'all go ahead. Finish, Coach. What, Coach?
We was on Tampa Bay Tech.
Tampa Bay Tech.
And you on their offensive line. You said their offensive line wasn't that good.
Judgment offensive line was better than Tech's. I don't care how big they were. They were better than Tech. And we won't say that if Judgment has a better offensive line coach than Tech, yes. Does Berkeley have a better offensive line coach than Tech? Yes. I go with No. Jason Roberts, they basically saying you need to step up on the offensive line.
Because you made it seem personal.
It is personal with guys, all right?
Look, I love what Coach Roberts doing for the community with the kids, but I'm just telling you,
we talking football right now. We talking football right now.
He got a Lambo.
Yes, he got a Lambo. It stay gassed up.
Don't drive that bitch like a Corvette. That's a Lambo.
I'm shocked at y'all.
What are you shocked at?
I'm shocked at the both of y'all, man.
You shocked?
I'm shocked at y'all, man.
Hold up.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Both of them went to state last year, right?
No, the year before.
Year before.
Okay. Both of them went to state the same time one year, right?
Yeah.
Did Tech have a good team the year they went to state? A year before?
Judgment ain't play. Well, Judgment beat.
Right here.
No Western that year.
Right, they did.
They beat St. Thomas.
Yes.
And no Western.
So I just agree with y'all that Judgment has a better offensive line coach. Didn't I say that?
You gonna keep it there?
That's all. Yeah, that's
I'm not
all.
gonna keep it there.
That's how you gonna leave it right there.
You gonna leave it right
Just
there?
gonna leave
What
it
you
right
mean?
I'm just asking, are you gonna leave it at offense?
I think listen, don't get it twisted. And I'll go ahead and say this. Judgment has been the best coach team in the Bay Area over the last 7 years at least. I would say that. And what I mean by best coach, I'm talking about on every aspect of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. When they beat St. Thomas Aquinas at home, that was a great game. It was a well-coached game.
For the city.
For the city.
Yes.
And one thing I can say about Palmer and those guys over there, they do what they do well and they don't deviate from it. No matter what. Now,
Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe Clay Smith. Coach Thompson. That like those guys. Those guys. Yeah.
Gary, listen, I'm gonna tell you the biggest difference I see. The biggest difference I see. They off season. We can sit here and talk about all we want, but they off season. I think is what separate them from the other coaches. Now I will say, and I talked to Kevin about this one time. I talked to KK about this. They do have different challenges.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's hard for them to do certain things because they do face different challenges that I think Jesuit kids not gonna face. For one, everybody in Jesuit have to get dropped off. They don't rely on school bus transportation, so it is hard to get your kids at school at an early time. So I can't knock them for that. I think
but it's hard to put a private school up against a public school. That's hard because guess what? No.
Like that commitment.
No, listen, my commitment. No, listen. This is what I'm about to tell you. This is what I'm about to tell you.
Did Wiener have plant operating?
Wiener did, but Wiener had a supporting cast, and people believed in what he was doing.
Why? Because he had a system.
Yes, he did. Structured system. But I say it's hard to put public against private because name the teams that Wiener had and Callahan. And you got to name those teams, right? It was structured within them teams. No matter what type of structure it was structured and it was disciplined and it was all that type of stuff. People believed in the system. Me personally, I think that Tech has a following, but I don't think that everybody bought into the system. And now, whether that has to do with coaching and people believing in the coaching or questioning the coaching, that could be a major part of it.
Everybody, the kids are the one that got to buy into the system,
right.
And
so do the parents.
And the parents
and so do
the
parents. And the kids and the
But
parents.
who set that standard?
The coaches do. The coaches do.
And when
Now-
the parents don't fall into it, that's when the coaches got to step up and say, if I'm committed to this and these kids, I got to play a bigger role than I normally would play.
And that might come to sometimes he may need to go. I would say this in public schools. I think you definitely got to have administration on board with the head coach. They got to have the same goal in mind for a public school or any school.
Yeah, he gotta have more support. He gotta have way more
I tell
support.
this to Jerry. You got to have the administration and that program got to be on one accord to help them coaches and them set up this program and stuff like we talking about. But I think that's still on the coach to have that. You got to have that heart to heart with that. You in the off season,
Right.
when the season over, you got to have the principal with the AD, with the teachers.
A true sit down.
And a true when they do the wherever. I don't know how the internal go. And if
Yeah.
I'm missing something, somebody tap in the coach and say, "Well, you ain't thinking about this," because I'm not. I'm just talking what I feel. You know.
Right.
So if I'm on the
And now listen, another segment for another day because we got to wrap things up. Hey, don't take none of this stuff personal. Because everybody jury real around here, man. We just throwing the topics
Wasn't
up there.
said personal.
Wasn't nothing said personal, but I still feel like they tech haters. That's just my opinion.
He
Hey,
got,
Buster!
he got the right to feel that
Hey,
way.
Buster!
You know I love you. You know I love you, Buster. You done had enough of our players to know that I love you.
Hey, Jason. Hey, man, listen, Jerry, I love you. Mike Williams, keep doing great things that you're doing over there at Robinson. They really need you down there in South Tampa. But right now, plant the big dog, man. You got to tighten that up.
Shout out Alonzo, too.
So shout out to Alonzo. Hey, listen, that's my turnaround team of the year. They my sleeper. I like Sumner to make it through. And correct me if I'm wrong, I better stay dinner Sumner to the third round of the playoffs this year.
That's still in the city. That's why I'm telling you.
No, you
Third
not
round
in the
still
city. No.
Third round, you.
No, it's the fourth round.
It's probably reach.
That's the second round. The second round still in the city.
Third
Hey,
round.
don't put all that pressure on Alonzo, man.
Man, there ain't no pressure on
No
Zoe.
pressure on Zoe.
I like Sumner
Hey.
in the third round at least.
Hey, listen. They are the biggest school in Hillsborough County.
And they do got all the kids because everybody living
Everybody
West
we
in
know
the
moving out
Yeah.
here. So I do think he got them moving in the right direction.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Well, we'll see, as far as how far they go. He got a lot of talent on that team right now. He got one of the most special talents we just saw in Greg Spill.
man, that boy special.
That boy special. So we'll see. They got, and you know what else they sleeping on? They got some nice big linemen.
They do.
They got some,
They do.
and they JV down there 100 strong, and the varsity down there seem like 100 strong. So he definitely building it.
Hey, Zoe, we need to get you on the show, man. You need to come chop it up with us, man. This ain't gonna just be no one-time thing either, man. This is some valuable information, man.
And for all your organizations that's looking to be a part of this, man, reach out to me, man, so we can start putting stuff in place and getting something formatted and getting it structured so we can move this platform in the right direction.
Or,
Yes, sir.
or even with y'all be opposed to for the citizens, we talk about it. And it's already always talked about amongst the trees. I'm gonna put it on the show. Is it something we're opposed to if people do want to come together and make? It don't have to just be. It can be whoever. Like minds come together. Like you said, getting like-minded things together to accomplish one goal and be a powerhouse and make it. Because it's gonna be hard to get 27 organizations because it's too many chiefs. It's too many.
Right.
Nobody wanna. So
And I don't mind being an Indian, trust me. So let's make this work.
Oh yeah, don't forget, if you're looking to buy a house, if you're a first-time home buyer, you need a realtor, hey man, get up my man Los, man.
For sure,
Get up
for
my
sure.
man Los. He'll get you off the streets. He'll get you off the streets, I'm
or
telling you, man.
You looking to maximize your equity on your house. You trying to sell your house. Now I'm gonna say that. Let me say that. I gotta give a shout out to Florida Collaborative Group. That's my team. We out of powered by Keller Williams. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something else. A lot of y'all sitting right now, and y'all house is sitting on equity, right? I ain't gonna talk too much, but when we buy a house as a culture, I think we falling in love too much with the property. You purchase that house as an investment to put you in a better position later in life so you can make other moves. Do not sit on that equity. I know right now everybody's saying interest rate. Let's talk about it because I can sit down and make it make sense to you. So if you're sitting on equity and you're really trying to set the future up for your kids and you're really trying to do it, let me show you how to take that money and make that money do something for you so you can really set them up in the future. Florida Collaborative Group, the People Champ, we here.
Hey, Tread Barbecue, Capital Clothing, them Tampa Bay Area Jaguars, baby. Hey, all sponsors of what Crush Time Survivors got going on. Hey, we love you. Stop playing. And tell them what you say, Coach. What kind of story it is?
True story.
Yes, sir.